crew we made. Ready now, turn the page. This is where we all engage. Engage. Let the journey begin.
Welcome to Engage
with Trekkie
and Trekker. On this show, we are boldly exploring the fans behind the fandom of Star Trek. And on this episode, we have another super exciting guest for you, Dimo. Welcome to the show, Dimo.
Hey, live long and or prosper.
And or prosper. That's my first question for you. Would you rather live long or prosper?
Very good question. I think prosper is it's got to be the best option. It's like saying someone's not lived a long, we're not here for a long time, we're here for a good time.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that. So would you please introduce yourself to us however you would like to?
Okay. So hello, my name is Dimo. I'm a mechanical engineer, 31 years old. And I've been a fan of Star Trek for approximately 5 years now, since I met my current wife, my now wife, I should say, who introduced me to Star Trek. And it's been, I consider myself a nerd, like Star Wars, Doctor Who. I've watched Battlestar Galactica, everything, a lot of sci-fi, a lot of fantasy. I'll watch and I'll enjoy. There you go.
So fantasy and sci-fi has long been something that you've generated towards or been geared towards, but
Yep.
Star Trek wasn't until you met your wife.
Exactly. It was probably more of a, that old Star Wars versus Star Trek. So because I
Okay.
had Star Wars to start with, I was like, I don't need Star Trek. To be very honest with you, the reason I probably didn't aim towards Star Trek was because it was an older series, and
Sure.
I was very much, I didn't want to engage with older series that had older types of graphics or action. I didn't like things that didn't have modern, not settings, but modern sort of types of filming. So even Doctor Who, I only watched from the revival.
2005 on.
And then my wife made me watch Next Generation. So I think the first episode I watched was Measure of a Man.
Oh, good
And
one.
for me, it because I had an idea of Star Trek from like the internet, and I really liked it. I was like, okay, so this is what it's all about, and I thought it was well made. I was like, okay, I can live with this type of these graphics or this type of old filming, and we watched more and more and more, and so it was very good. Before that, my only other Star Trek was I watched the two films that came out. The
Kelvin universe.
Yes, the J.J. Abrams ones.
Okay.
So, I did watch those, and because it wasn't such a great, it was just an action film for me. I was like,
They
okay,
were. Yeah.
nothing here is really. I was like, okay, so Star Trek isn't that great. Ignore.
Oh, Star Trek isn't that great from the
At
Abrams
that time,
movies where
at
they
that
were
time,
really trying to make it great. They were
Yeah.
really, really trying to get new fan base, I'm sure.
It was more like a traditional action adventure film, only set in what would probably be known as the Star Trek universe. So in retrospect, once I started watching Next Gen and DS9 and Voyager, it's like, well, these are unrelated. Yeah, they have the same label, but they don't explore the same things.
No, I can appreciate that, and I can appreciate your walking away from those first two movies. The second of those two movies, when it came out, I kept forgetting what I'd seen. Like I'd watch it, and I rewatch things a lot, and I usually have it pretty tight in my brain, like the things that happen in it. And I found that second of the reboot movies, I kept forgetting, like what happened during that? What? And I kept rewatching it. Oh yeah. And I was like, yeah, I guess it just didn't resonate as strong.
Right.
But yeah. So you came into it, and The Measure of a Man was your first TNG episode. Was that your first Star Trek episode or your first?
I think it was my first Star Trek episode of all.
Okay.
Or rather, it's the one that stands out to me most.
Okay, sure.
So it must have been. And then when I think what we did is we finished that season, and then I made my wife show me the first season, and I was already getting that. Oh wait, these people should be like this. which every show has, where they're not fully
Develop.
fledged,
Yeah.
fully developed, fully fleshed out, and it's just getting there. You see Riker with no beard, and you're like, no, there's something wrong about you.
Yeah.
There's something I don't like. But yeah, and it was very good. I really liked everything in Measure of a Man. I really liked the arguments. I really liked the emotions. It just, for me, sets the tea. And then when my brother was visiting, Christmas or whatever, we made him watch Star Trek, and I was like, this is the first episode we're gonna watch, and that also hooked him to it. Because I feel like if you watch the first episode of Star Trek, of TNG, I'll say it didn't hook me as much. I was like, okay,
sure, yeah. No, that's and I think when it's an older show like that, you do run into the issue, like you were saying before, where sometimes you look at graphics and it kind of like, ooh, I don't know if I really want to watch this. Because I definitely had that for a lot of shows. Doctor Who was one of them as well. Like, people would say, well, if you like Star Trek, you might like Doctor Who. And I'd look at like what I saw of Doctor Who and be like, I don't think that's a show I'd like. Funny enough that I love it now, but yeah, like then I couldn't. But like where you start in a program really can help determine, and almost all first seasons of anything aren't their best. Like to your earlier point, they're not fleshed out. What'd you say, Trekkie?
Fallout's the exception.
Oh, okay. Well, I will watch Fallout. It's still on my list.
And is that because what you expected to see you really liked for Fallout?
So I played the games a little bit, but it was more, I don't know. Fallout is just a heck of a lot of fun to me. I mean, it's not Star Trek in any way, shape, or form. I mean, in my opinion, there's not necessarily, there's shows that are comparable or have a similar, not even cadence, but theme to it, but just every way that Fallout, it was just fantastic world building, in my opinion. And they hit the characters and the situations just perfect. I think I do, of course, rewatch Star Trek all the time, but I have, been watching, rewatching Fallout quite frequently. So again, I know we're talking, and Trekker, I'll bring it up, but yes, you'll have to find some time and watch this show. So anyway, but
back to Star Trek.
Yeah, back to Star Trek.
Well,
yeah.
Just before we jump back to Star Trek,
I did.
Just so you know, Trekkie, I haven't watched the second season of Fallout. We watched the first one. We haven't watched the second one. It's on our list. But going back to what you said, Trekker, earlier about how the first season is not always what hooks you on something. And very specifically, as we were talking about Doctor Who, I watched from the revival, but what really got me hooked was my friend showing me the 10th Doctor, David Tennant, in Silence in the Library, and I think Blink. And that really, again, that stage, and it made me think, oh, yes, I want more. And then I went a while where I had watched from all of David Tennant's, but I hadn't seen Christopher Eccleston's. And then when I went back and watched Christopher Eccleston, I was like, okay, just get through this. I'm not the greatest enjoyer of this, although my wife really likes the Christopher Eccleston sections. Yeah. And then I went even further back. I watched the Doctor Who film with Paul McGann. And then I was like, okay, I could see where it fell flat. I was like, this does not seem like something, this isn't what I know. This isn't what I know at all. But yeah, I just wanted to say, give my 2 cents on that. But you wanted to go back to Star Trek.
No, well, it's interesting because it evolved over time, as time does. Because I went through a whole tangent of my life where I had the old classic Doctor Who, and they were tedious to watch because they're serial and they're old, and it's different. But what I kept thinking is like Star Trek. It evolves with time, and the shows change, and how we do have shows like Strange New Worlds now that have very slick graphics that are almost akin to what you would get in the movie versions, and yet, but when you look at the original series, you have very cheap sets, very just, it's changed over time for sure.
Oh yeah.
But all of it, it's funny because both of those things and other genre and Fallout and all the other fandoms, what's so cool is that there's people that get behind it enough and get excited about it that it just keeps it going. And that to me is neat because that's where we end up finding community and other people that like the same thing, and we can geek out just like this. So to me, that's always cool. So I'm not opposed to diverting over to Fallout or Doctor Who, but since we are on Star Trek, let me ask you, do you have a favorite character from the Star Trek universe?
I think for myself, Data, because
Okay.
there's I like them all. As an engineer, I
Yeah.
have to say something like Geordi from TNG or Miles O'Brien from DS9. But Data is the most interesting because of his way of approaching things. He's got that he's got the puzzled face. Why are you humans doing this? Such and such. And you gotta love Riker, who's always, the way I think about Riker, he's always amused at everything. He's always like, oh, Data, we just, we open presents because it's a joy, Unfortunately, I don't like Wesley, but that's my problem. I think the show made me not like him. It's just not delivered properly. But yeah, Data to me is the most interesting. And I think because of the introduction of Measure of a Man, I was like, they start listing out his achievements. And I'm like, yeah. They're like, oh yeah, this person who we're debating about has earned all these distinctions. And I'm like, yeah, tell them. Just like if they were slaps, I'd be like, yeah, you hear that? What? It's like, say my name. It's like, my name is Data, and I'm blah 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 blah. And I just really like that. The way he goes about everything. I'm a very much lawful good sort of consideration person. It's not the best thing in the world to be, but I think Data embodies that a lot, and that's why I like that. That's what really draws me to him, if that makes sense. Yeah.
It's funny how much emotion Data can evoke in us for being a being that doesn't have emotions.
Yes.
Or at least for most of the Star Trek universe that we know him in.
Because he wants to. He wants to evoke the emotions. He wants to feel the emotion. He wants life so much. And I think it's reassuring to have that happen, to say, okay, well, this person, everything we take for granted, he's sort of like chasing after. And then we have to explain why, pain is good. Pain can be okay. And he's like, oh, well, I should grieve because I want to grieve. Or even when he is grieving, he's like, I feel bad for myself. Is that okay to feel? And people are like, yes, it is okay. Like the absence of Tasha from your life is what you're thinking about. He's like, but I feel bad that I feel bad about myself. And it shows a complexity of emotion, in my opinion.
I like that.
That's deep.
I like that. Dimo, you had mentioned, of course, Measure of a Man. Outside of that, or is that do you have a favorite episode or movie?
I think so. I haven't watched any of the movies from TNG. I think we watched one or two of them, but my wife was like, yeah, you don't need to watch these. You can watch this one. It's like,
you definitely don't need to watch the last one. That's the one that I've only watched once and I can't rewatch it.
I haven't seen any of them. I know, like, when we were on the cruise, they were playing a film where they were on the moon, and I was like, I've never seen this before. I've never seen
moon?
In TNG, where they were like doing something on a space station. I think they were on the moon.
Oh, well, it was either Generations, First Contact, or Insurrection, because I didn't see them play Nemesis.
No, it wasn't on the big screen. It was like one of the little screens they had.
Oh, okay.
Not in one of the rooms, and next to a bar. And I saw that and I was like, yeah, I've never seen that before. And I was half watching it because we were like part of a STEM meeting at the time. And I was like, is this interesting enough? Like, always have come in halfway. I'm not really hearing any audio. Do I care? It looked very slow. I was like, okay, I don't need to watch this. But favorite episode, I think Measure of a Man really does it for me because I kept chasing that. I wanted that. I really liked the fact that I agreed with the method that was happening. I agreed with everything from the start to finish. I really liked it. Mm-hmm. Like everything and how they addressed the problem, I really liked. I really disagreed with the reason that the problem was there. Like, they were like, we need to have this sort of session now, and you need to defend you need to not defend. Riker had to be the
the
prosecutor,
sort of, yeah,
and Riker straight up says, I'm Data's comrade. I cannot prosecute him. And
didn't
like,
take
oh,
him
well,
long
you
though,
got
did
it.
it?
But how that's what's the word? It's a clear prejudice. You cannot force that. So that I disagree with. But then their arguments and how they go through their trial, I really like that. In contrast, my wife's told me about. Well, we watched. No, it's told me about Darmok.
Okay.
Oh
So,
yeah.
and everything in that episode, I disagreed with it so much. I was like,
Really?
Because the way they approached first contact, basically with another person,
Okay.
like I was like, this is not how you do it. This is not at all how you should try and interact with someone who doesn't speak the same language as you, or who you think. This isn't how we communicate. Did you guys watch Project Hail Mary?
Yes.
Not yet.
Right. So I won't say any spoilers, but there's another episode in I think it was Voyager where the spaceship was stuck in time above a planet.
Okay.
Was
so
that
it was
Voyager
going
or was
super
that?
fast?
Yeah.
What? It was something like that, and on the planet, everything was moving super fast.
Yes. Yeah.
But but in real time,
Voyager was what, the shaker or was that what they call it? Something like that, where it shook, it caused earthquakes.
Correct. From the gravitational pull.
But what was happening from the side of the planet, they could see this star.
Yeah.
Right? And then they were like, oh, this has fascinated us. And then it showed how they went into the industrial age and the information age, and then they were trying to contact the ship. They knew it was a ship, and they were transmitting. They were trying to transmit to it. And so the guy says to them, okay, start again. Prime numbers. So 1, 2, 3, 5, and onwards. And the same thing happened in Discovery when they met these final feelings aliens, right? And they were like, oh, so you're communicating through feelings, but you're using numbers. So that's how you establish language. And that's where I completely disagree with Dharma, because immediately they go, oh, yeah, Dharma and Jalad. Dharma and Jalad and Tanagra. And for both sides of that, they both cannot be that surprised that it doesn't land, Like that, that's right.
You would think, like they do know their own language is based on like familiarity, which in the story, that's why they kidnap Picard. Like he has to go through something with him in order for them to speak. But you would think, knowing that you at least know enough self-awareness of your own language to be like,
They should both be. The thing is, Picard is on the Enterprise. And the Enterprise goes and makes first contact with all these other. They should have a protocol. Okay, here's our numbers, here's our alphabet, here's our sounds. What are yours? Do a little bit of monkey see, monkey do. Not this. I'm saying a word and then Picard says even more words when he's like trying to explain why.
I don't understand. Are you telling me X, Y? Yeah. When you're trying to learn a new language, that would be too much. Instead, it would be like phone.
Right.
Trekkie, I think you've got a disagreement.
Well, it's not even that. I mean, I have always loved the episode Darmok, but I was thinking from this conversation, it's also the interpreter Riva when he lost his chorus. And so, I mean, kind of with that, where granted, he said it could take months, but both of the warring parties then had to meet with Riva, and they were going to have to learn, their own language, that kind of thing. So I wonder, in hindsight, I think that probably is a better means of communication rather than, throwing two people down on a planet and, having to fight some beast without,
I do like the episode, but I do find it funny that they kidnapped Picard and thought this will achieve peace. Like you literally threw him down there with a monster and some knives, but there could have been a nicer, peaceful way to make language. Like, I don't know, beam him down with some food and say, here's what drink is, here's what food is.
I think, just in their defense, I don't think they expected to have a monster there. I don't remember that in like the intro that they know that there's a disturbance. I think
I thought
they wanted to go. You reckon? I don't remember.
I think and why can't I
it
think
was
of
to
the
have
name?
the battle. Yeah, because
Yeah,
his eyes wide open, the walls have fallen. Yeah.
right. Yeah, Picard didn't know, and the Enterprise crew, but I feel like why
The
can't
other
I
ones
think of the
did.
name of the
Dharma?
the species?
I can't remember, but I love them in
not
Lower Deck.
Targaryens.
Tamarian?
Tamarian. Yes.
There you go.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
I was thinking Tajarians too, but anyway, I think the Tamarians knew, and that's why they purposely took them to that particular planet. So
Mhm.
maybe it was a desperate attempt and stuff like that. Because I think, yeah, but
Can I just say,
interesting, though.
also a not reasonable thing to do on first
Yeah.
contact.
Yeah,
right?
Just put our
seriously.
lives in danger. They have no reason to get endangered. Like it's not a life and death thing. It's like,
It
okay,
shouldn't have been. It shouldn't
Yeah.
have been.
just let me just communicate, just talk, bro. And the whole thing of unfortunately for me, I also disagree with the whole idea of their language is based on events, because what is a plate? What
Right.
is
Yeah.
they're
Yeah,
both
you have to have
starfish.
something else. It can't if in Dr. Crusher's example where she was explaining it, it was if I say Juliet on a balcony, you might think something of romance, but how would you have the words Juliet on the balcony if your whole language is based off of that? I did think that too, but
Yeah, it's like, well, what's the spaceship? Oh yeah, volts going through the wire or
right, yeah.
amps, and that, I guess that's
And that
something.
could be a story about the time that Trekker got electrocuted playing with wires once. So Trekker
Right.
with wires built the. Yeah, it would be
Yeah.
very difficult. It would be difficult
like,
for sure.
do you, no, it's like, do you smell that, Trekker, when you played with wires?
Yeah, exactly.
There's a burning smell.
Yeah. Trekker when he played with wires.
What is that smell? What is that
And
feeling?
then,
Yeah.
No, Dimo when he baked bread. Like,
Exactly.
it comes with its challenges, but that one definitely for me was one where I always had this little bit of a heart for, especially when they had that music that they did on the Star Trek cruise the first year I went, where they did the musical like version of that episode. Loved it. Okay, so that was, you have mentioned your favorite episode being Measure of a Man. What about your favorite series?
So I want to say, weirdly enough, Strange New Worlds, because I really like the more modern setting of it. But before that, what defines for me Star Trek, I've got to say it's TNG. So
Okay,
the next
sure.
gen, because it was my first thing, because I've got in my mind, I've got Picard as the logical, reasonable captain, even though he's not. Even
Right,
though at times
there
he's
are
not.
times when he is.
I'm like, this is the person who always knows what to do. And because I watched that first, and then when I was watching Voyager, I was like, okay, is Janeway as sort of reasonable or as sort of rational? Is she portraying the aspects of a captain that I expect? And then DS9, is Cisco doing the same thing? Then I had this weird thing where we were watching Discovery, and I think we were watching Discovery, and when I was first watching Star Trek, I was like, let's watch an episode of Discovery and then we'll watch DS9, or let's watch an episode of Discovery. And I did find myself, initially I wanted to watch Discovery because it was like newer, and it was more, action packed or faster. But then as I watched more and more of the old Trek, I was like, well, this isn't actually what I want. This is different. This is not close enough related. It's not really, what are the problems that they're facing? Why are they doing what I considered, again, illogical or unreasonable? So Discovery put me off sort of new Trek, but then Strange New Worlds, because people were saying, oh, it's a lot more like old Trek, and I started watching it. I really enjoyed it, and I found it very fun. And so that's where I stuck with it. I was like, okay, I really like Strange New Worlds. And then obviously Lower Decks was already out, but I couldn't appreciate fully all the references and all the jokes until I watched Next Gen and DS9 and Voyager. I still haven't finished watching Enterprise. I think I watched part of the first season, and I definitely haven't watched any of the TOS.
I tell you my personal spot where I tell people to start on Enterprise is I want to say it's the second to last episode of the second season, so that you can watch all of the third season. And then after that, then you kind of like the characters enough that season 1 and 2 become more enjoyable. Because it did. The first time I watched it took me a while to like Enterprise. But for me, it got really good once the probe came to Earth and like burned Cuba to Florida. That sounds awful. Big tragedy happens. But once they went into the whole like mysterious deltoid expanse or what? Wait, was that the
Xindi.
expanse? The Zen and meeting the Xindi. Exactly. Yes, that was where it got good finally. And now I like season 1 and 2. But yeah, it took me a while. It took me a long while. Yeah.
Right.
I'll have to find some time to watch it. I am a bit of a
That sounds
completionist.
so non-committal. I love it.
It's more like, okay, I've got
Sure,
free
Trekker.
time. What am I going to spend it doing? You know.
Yeah.
But yeah, if I had to say now, like if I need to have an easy watch, I can put Lower Decks on in the background.
Yeah.
If I want to watch specific, specific, I guess, moral dilemmas, then I'd try and go for next gen. I don't think of Voyager as a very dilemma sort of rich series, but I only watched it once.
Okay.
And then DS9 I watch often enough because it's my wife's favorite series. So I do tend to we'll have the odd episodes playing in the background every so often. But yeah, if I had to say what I thought was the standard for Star Trek, I'd say the next gen. My personal favorite, I think, is Lower Decks because it's the funnest series.
Sure.
But then if I had to say, what do I want to watch more of? I'd probably say Strange New Worlds. That being said, all of those, if we had more episodes, I'd watch them. I watched Picard, and it was just, I liked part of it, but then they went into the final season, and I was like, no, it's not. This isn't how Star Trek should be portrayed. If that makes sense.
You mean Starfleet? Like how Starfleet is?
Picard.
Oh, Picard. Mm-hmm.
Really? Dimo,
Yeah.
I'm surprised at that, especially, Next Generation. And again, not everybody has
Because
to
of the
agree
TNG reunion?
because of the TNG reunion and seeing that.
That was good. Those few episodes I'd say were good, but the whole, the way that the third season or even the second season started, and they ignored it from a previous season. The third season started, they ignored everything.
They did. It was like season 2 didn't exist at all. Like it was just, we didn't acknowledge any of those, anything. The other Borg, I don't know why they didn't bring back the Gelati board at all. Like they should have at least acknowledged that.
They did.
In the third season?
Yeah, that's who the Borg was.
What
Because
do
she
you
called
mean?
him Mister. That's when she called him Mister, and that's how he realized that the Borg that they were dealing with was Jati.
What?
So that was and she does her helmet thing up because she was all dressed in black, and
I'll
she
have to
said something
rewatch.
about, "Hey,
Dang it.
Mister."
Okay. Huh.
So
I don't know. Yeah. I felt like season 2 was a bit of a wash, though. I don't
is that
remember
season
most
2?
of it. I'm thinking of season 2, but like when they have this whole new version of the Borg that are willing drones.
Helpful, right?
Yeah,
Like-
like you choose to join the
Yeah.
Borg instead of the Borg just choose to assign to Borg you.
That
And
was the
then
end of
so
2.
that's who I'm referring, but I didn't think we saw them again in season 3.
We didn't.
of
I
Picard.
apologize. I just put it to the.
But
That was
yeah,
the last
But
of
we
season
should
2.
have. They should have been
Right.
part of are they part of the Federation? Are they helping defeat the other Borg since they're a shoot off of it? We
Either
saw
way,
nothing. I don't know.
Either way, keep one or two of the characters.
Yeah.
These are what we powerful people. Let's say if you're part Data or whatever, come and join. But then they didn't. Every in the last season of Picard, the third season, where everybody from Next Gen came in, it was it was very nice. It was done very well, especially Worf coming in. It's like,
Yes,
I'm Worf, son of Mo. Would you like to? And for me, it was like, we've never seen him this mobile. We've never seen him like this. Yeah, he roars and he attacks someone, but it was still good fun. But the whole, Picard finds out he has a son, and he's immediately like, oh, this is my child. I was like, he would not react this way. He definitely would not react this way. He shouldn't expect immediate obedience from someone just because he's his son. He hasn't seen him forever, whatever. The guy still had a British accent, even though Beverly was his mom. But I think
That's a little confusing. Yeah.
I think they explained that by saying he went to like
school.
a British school, didn't he? Yeah. So
Under a different name, I'm guessing, because he was being hidden.
He's Jack Crusher.
yeah, I think he was a crusher.
But she was apparently on the run for 20 years from people trying to get her. So that's why she kept it a secret. So she also put him in school.
I don't remember that. That's a detail I don't remember.
By that, I'm confused. Yeah, I'm sorry. That was a little bit of a Like, I would have preferred them have a secret baby somewhere that even Beverly didn't know they had done, and they both discovered they were parents, rather than she secretly was on the run from somebody that she got along with perfectly fine for all those years on the Enterprise, and
it would be
you can't talk to. Like, that was a little bit of a stretch, but
well, she didn't talk to any of them to hijack. So
correct, yeah, like. And she had a whole crew that she could have been that could have been helping her be on the run.
Deanna's dropping the ball on the emotions. Should have been able to figure it out.
Right? Yeah. Why didn't you know? Yeah.
Funny.
Okay. How about Star Trek inventions that you'd most like to see in the world?
I think I know the big ones are the replicator and the holosuite. But because I think I understand the implications of those, I know that we cannot, it'd be very difficult to have those. And even like when me and my wife, or even with all of us, we start talking about it and we're like, where does the energy come from? Where does this come from? And I'm like, well, you need a deuterium engine to create this, something that goes as fast as light speed, as warp speed. But I think for our modern world, what would be more useful is like the medical tricorder, where you just say, oh yeah, the Dimo's okay, or Dimo's got a broken leg, or Dimo's got whatever. But they go wrong so many times. Someone's like, I don't know, man, there's a growth in my arm. It's like, the medical tricorder is like empty. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what's going on. It says it's your own skin, so there's nothing wrong with you.
Yeah.
So, but yeah,
I think having a tricorder would be very, very helpful. I would love it if it would also have a small amount of the hypo sprays that you might need built in, so it could just instantly, like, oh, it looks like you're starting to get the denobulan flu. Here, now you're anecdoting.
Like, it would be. It's like, oh, what, you've got a headache? Well, here.
Right.
That's it. Mm-hmm. But unfortunately, we don't. I mean,
it would probably come with a monthly subscription. You could buy the device, but you'd have to pay monthly in order to use the device.
Oh, yeah,
if it was on the planet Earth, or should I say Ferenginar?
Pay by the hypospray, yeah.
Right.
It's like, yeah, paying for medication. That's a new invention there.
You're right. Exactly. That's funny. Well, Dimo, we've touched, I mean, just in our conversation, we've touched on quite a few moments for all of us. Is there a particular time that Star Trek really blew your mind?
No, it really blew my mind. That's a very hard one, because if I had to remember, I don't remember every single time that they encountered a species that had a different type of understanding. So it's always, for me, do I agree with this? Do I disagree with this? There was in Next Gen, there was one species that when they reached 64 years old or something, you remember that? They were like, oh yeah, now you're gonna go.
You need to die.
Now you're gonna go die.
Yeah.
You have to put your affairs in order. You have to do all this. It was Luoxana Troy, who was was she also that age? She was like, how dare you?
Yeah, she was about that age. I think she was actually probably older than Temmett. So
yeah, and that's why she took so much offense. She's like, how dare you think that we're not useful? And then, but their society was sort of like
someone who was extremely helpful to a society, like trying to save the whole planet. Like, sorry, I had to say that.
They were like, but they were still like, okay, you've had your turn. This is now the next person's turn to help. You should rather than you focused on you solving the problem, you need to help society solve this problem by letting the next person try. And what I disagreed with on that episode, I'm realizing a lot of the things that I say are like, I disagree with this on this episode. It's more about, do I agree? Do I disagree?
That's okay. You can be disagreeable. We're okay for it.
What I found interesting was Loxana's insisting that you are wrong. And I was like, well, actually, I can see how this is clearly a Prime Directive thing of, respect other people's cultures. It's not necessarily something that we all agree on, but you can't really disagree with their culture too much. Obviously, we as a society now here on Earth, we don't do that. We don't say at 64, you should go to the side and die for the benefit of our world.
Your family doesn't do that?
No, we don't. Funnily enough, but that's the basis we're using on. We're like, we don't do this, therefore it must be wrong. What you're saying is wrong. And I found it an interesting way where Picard was very much like, I don't remember if it was Picard. I know it was his shit, but I don't remember if any of the characters tried to say, well, actually, we can't disagree with them. This is their prerogative. They're coming at it they fully know what they're talking about. Like, if someone's going to decide, it's got to be them. There's not like you have an insight to say this is something you haven't thought about. They have thought about it. They have thought about it. They've come to their decision. They're doing it. They know exactly why they're doing it. They've got rituals. They've got their affairs in order. And I think the reason that they were doing that was they had limited resources on the planet, and so they couldn't afford to have all these people. That's a
convenient thing to say when you want to enact euthanasia.
And Dimo, you're hitting points, and actually, I wanted to. I mean, the fact that they may have done this as ritual, they may have done this based on resources, but ultimately they were, if I'm not mistaken, they were a member of the Federation, and we're in a post-scarcity society, so the need for resources should be a moot point on that. And just for the sake of argument, just because we've done, and this is not against you, Dimo, just because we've done something forever and ever
doesn't mean it's
we
right.
continue that.
Yeah.
So
yeah, no.
I know, and that's where I think Loxana Troy was coming at it from a very more. I think what hits me more is motivation. If someone says, "I don't like this because I disagree with it," I'm like, okay,
correct.
I don't like your argument. Find a different. Come back when you've got a different argument that says actually society is better if you have all these experienced people that can share the knowledge. And someone's life achievement or life work has not been realized. He wants to realize it. Okay, I like that. I'll accept that. But when people come in and say, well, personally, I don't like this, I'm like, I just can't accept that as an argument. Another episode where they did, they hit another society was I saw it even recently. It was a species that they couldn't reproduce. They had assigned roles in their society, I believe. So they were like, okay, Dimo is the principal and Trekker is like the doctor and Trekkie is the president. But they couldn't reproduce. They couldn't make more people. And so what they did is they actually stole the kids from the Enterprise. And they were all smiles and they were like, yeah, listen, we've taken them. There's nothing you can do about it. We have infinite resources. We have a lot more power than you. You cannot take them back. There's nothing you as the Enterprise team can take away. You can ask for something in return, but we have taken your kids. And that is a very that as an event you cannot sort of sit idly by. It's like, well, if you're doing this, then this is a declaration of war. So we will come here. Even if we leave now, we will come back with more. There's no way they can leave 16, 17 kids behind. And with that, again, I agree fully with the method in that. No, we can't let this happen. You cannot sacrifice your children for this reason, and there is no price that you can pay to sort of say, yeah, you can have my kid. Now that's all personal opinions aside, I think that's a more universal sort of like take on it.
That one's an interesting episode too, because this planet, this mythical planet, I can't remember what the name of it was, but it was cloaked and all that, and people have talked about it for centuries, and does it exist or doesn't it? And then for all their power and for all their technology, they thought that they could solve their problems by kidnapping about 16 children for a whole planet. Like, is your whole planet just the 20 people that we've seen in this episode? Because that's what you're leading us to believe, and you're not solving this problem very, like, strategically.
They were so surprised that when they took this kid and they said, "These are your parents now. You must refer to them as dad and mom." It's like, well, I don't want to do that. And they were so surprised. What do you mean? And they also, because they were so advanced, they had taken the planet was doing everything for them or something.
Yep.
They had taken they didn't have jobs in the way of, we must build things. It was all arts and crafts. It was all like, oh, you are a woodworker. This is your dreidel or whatever that will,
your tool for
that will do. Just your thought. You don't even need that. You don't even need to do anything else. And I was like, well, this isn't really a society, is it?
It would be very boring if you could, like, I can't whittle anything out of wood. I can't. But I would just imagine that if I had a tool, it would be super cool the first, like, 3, 4, 5, maybe 18 times I've made something out of it. What else how many things are you going to whittle up with wood? Like I would get so bored so quick because it takes nothing. It's just 2 seconds. And then I'd be bored with it. Like, next. That wouldn't be the society for me.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to think of, you said how many times has it ever blown my mind? I think what I keep trying to find on YouTube is a clip from Voyager when the doctor was unwell, like the EMH doctor, and they had him in the holosuite, and then they were taking turns sort of babysitting him.
Yes.
And I realized as I was watching it that the way they'd set up the episode, the specific scene where the doctor wakes up and Janeway's there or Chakotay's there, it was literally like I was watching a one-person show. They were acting on a stage in a theater, in my opinion. I was like, once I realized it, I was like, oh, I really like this. I really like how this is portrayed and like the quiet, and it's just conversation. And it's a very nice callback to those types of the old type shows of that old Trek, and it's very much what I didn't like in Starfleet Academy. Sorry about your shirt there, Trekkie.
It's all right.
But, well,
Shots fired.
I know.
no, look, I watched it.
IDIC.
I watched all of it, and then I realized that a lot of the times when they were even doing normal scenes, someone talking, someone saying something deep or whatever, they would show other people. In the episode where the Klingons were doing the debate, the Klingon debate.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the guy was standing there and talking about them. And I felt like it was showing a lot of the other characters reacting. And that's okay because you want to show them. From what I expected, I wanted to see the person. I wanted to see him, how he reacts, how he says the words. I want to see the emotions. If he's monologuing, show me the monologue, let him see him act. And I felt like in a lot of the episodes for Starfleet Academy, that's what was happening. It was, instead of letting the person who was talking, instead of showing them and letting them portray their emotions or letting them act out their emotions or anything, it would show how Dimo is reacting to it, or how Trekker is reacting to it, or how Trekkie is reacting to it. And I was like, just let them show it, Let them shout, let them cry, let them be angry, let them do all of this. Why are you taking away from this moment? Let them speak,
Yeah.
Those are those moments when the actors are standing there with the script today is a good day to die. They rewrote that script, and so they didn't have the actor doing a good version. It's just him reading, so that's why they're like pan on the audience.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And it just, once you realize it, when that happens and that's in your mind, you sort of like out of the scene. It's like, okay, so I'm not really listening to this. You know, when you listen to any of the doctors, David Tennant shouting, you know, it's like all his emotions. It's like, yes, speak. Peter Capaldi giving his speeches. Like I really love that's what you want to watch. Yes, I come into shows with what is the concept. Do I like the concept? Then I want to see the delivery. Oh, you're time traveling like this. Okay, let me see that delivery. I came into Supernatural, you know, wanting to see what was going on. I watched the first episode. I watched the first season. I was like, okay, I'll watch the rest of it. And then at some point in season 10 or season 15, I was like, this is still the same show. Yeah. But I still watched it. I was like, you know what? I'm already invested in this. I'm going to finish it off.
Some shows are just like that. Are there any redeemable characters or moments in Starfleet Academy for you then?
Did you say actors are redeemable moments?
Characters I meant that are redeemable from it for you.
I realized that I really liked what's her Tig what's her name?
Reno.
Yeah, I really liked her especially in the last 2 episodes which she had to take charge. I really loved that. Okay. I really liked the Jem Hadar character. I really liked her.
Yeah, she was
like,
great. Okay.
Again, she was loud and direct. This is who I am. Then you see, unfortunately, I didn't really like Holly Hunter's character. She was a bit trying to be a bit playful, but it fell slightly flat for me. I don't know. I didn't enjoy her character as much as I wanted. I really didn't like our protagonist, what's his face, because he was just so big and muscular and tough and smart, and I was like, okay, but this is too much. Like, let's rein it back a bit.
Like, you already have everything.
Yeah. It's like you're telling me you're really strong, you're really capable, you're really everything. Like, you know, just be a 17-year-old or something. Be you know, if you've never been happy, show me you've never been happy. Not you're going around and then you're not happy.
Yeah. It is kind of weird to be on the run from everybody most of your life and still be super smart and developed. But, you know, there again, well, you didn't like the Wesley Crusher character, but I was going to say it's kind of similar where it's like a child prodigy, basically. Like, you know.
But what I didn't like about Wesley is the fact that, for instance, they let him drive the Enterprise. They let him drive the Enterprise. Oh, why is Wesley allowed to drive the Enterprise? The Enterprise is the flagship of Starfleet. It's the flagship. It should be the most rule-abiding like ship in the whole fleet.
Good point.
It's run by Picard, who really likes his rules, and yet we let Wesley, who is not a member of Starfleet.
He didn't go through Starfleet Academy for however many years. Yeah.
I think
there's somebody that did that's waiting in the background. Like, it was supposed to be me next going up to the con, and now he's sitting there.
But no, Picard likes Beverly, so I guess she gets.
Ooh, you bet there were some rumors on the Enterprise that day, like from those ensigns that were supposed to fly the ship, just because he's Dr. Crusher's son.
But my disagreement from that comes from he's a prodigy. Good for him. What are all the what are all the protocols if things go wrong? What's the docking protocol when you have to go to, I don't know, anywhere to dock? What's the landing procedure? Does he know all these things? If the captain says red alert, does he know what red alert is? If we go into battle, does he know? These are things.
Freaking Crusher, of course he knows.
Oh, does he? If they're in danger, is his mom happy about it? You know? And I think because I did military service as part of like being a Greek citizen for 9 months, and I came out of it with it. It wasn't really military service. It was more like a bit more strict camp, if you can imagine that. But I came out of it with like these ideas of what the military is, and every time I see things, even if you ignore Starfleet as a as a paramilitary organization, which
Which
they say they're not, but everything they do shows that they are.
military. Yes.
Right?
Mhm.
When you think about that, and when you just think about it as a corporation, it's like, what about the liability? What if we crash the flagship? And then when we look at the black box, we say, okay, who was driving? Was it Data, who, is a graduate of Starfleet Academy? Is it the ensign Rowe?
Yeah, the ensigns that went
Is
through
the
training.
ensign
Yeah.
that's finished everything? No. It was
It was the 12-year-old.
It was Wesley Crusher. Okay, when did Wesley Crusher graduate the Starfleet Academy? Next time
You'd
we're
be
on
like,
the cruise.
oh wait, is this the same 12-year-old that when we all got drunk on that disease took over the ship?
Yeah.
Exactly. It boggles the mind a little bit. Like next time we're on the cruise, all three of us will go up to the captain's thing and knock and say, "Can I drive the ship?"
Yeah, right.
Ooh, we should. Yeah.
It's already going forward. Just let me press the button.
We
Just
can
let
come in and say, don't worry about it. I'm a genius. Just let
Yeah,
me sit
right.
here and start.
No, I'm the doctor's.
Yeah.
Yeah, my mom's the doctor. Yeah.
Pardon me, privileges.
And that's part of, not saying I don't like people who are prodigies. It's more like, okay, you can be a prodigy, but that doesn't make you qualified to drive this ship, the flagship of the Federation, of Starfleet, which is of the Federation. It's a liability thing. It's like, if I came to your work, either of your works, would I be allowed into your systems? No.
Right.
And if I could be an employee, I still might not be allowed. So you're letting this unassociated third party come in and take over your stuff. It's like, no. If a random person can't come and drive my car, which actually I think in the UK we do have a thing where if I give someone permission, if my car is insured and I give them permission to drive my car, they're allowed to. But
Sure.
But I don't think so. Because if I need to have someone named, if I need to have my wife named on the insurance of the car, otherwise they can't drive it, then how does that work?
I don't know.
It's more... No, actually, what happens is some insurers say that if you've got a full insurance on your car, you can go and drive a third car, and your insurance may cover you for driving this other car, as a one-off.
I just hand my keys to anybody that wants to drive me. Like, here, drive me around. I'm good. If I don't have to, that's good.
Yeah, but Jason, Trekker.
It doesn't
What
matter.
happens? What happens if I'm driving your car and we crash? Right? You've got insurance, and then when it comes down to it, they're gonna say, "Who was driving the car?" It was Dimo. Okay, who told Dimo he could drive? The person.
Dimo, if we get in an accident, unless you're dead, we're just going to switch seats and say it was me and no problem. And we're going to make sure that my insurance never hears this recording.
Yeah. We don't condone insurance fraud, folks.
We
so
don't
you know.
Oh, crap. Is that what that is? Is that illegal? Oh, no. I've just engaged in illegalities. Oh, no.
It's like when you watch Arrested Development and Michael's mom, they have the accident and she's like, "You were driving," in order to prove that, in order to like make him feel bad, I guess.
Yeah. Okay. How about Trekkie? Do you have any rapid fire questions, or you want me
I
to
do have some, yeah.
Oh,
Yes, I
perfect.
do.
Then pew 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 pew.
All right. So, Dimo, we've just got, some fun little things, and you've been great with answering questions. It's just kind of either or. So, starting off, would you rather visit the Mirror Universe or yesterday's Enterprise timeline?
I don't think the Mirror Universe is the Terran universe, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, no. Well, I don't remember yesterday's Enterprise timeline, unless it's the one from Thingy with Tribbles. Was that it?
Nope, that was... So yesterday's Enterprise was when Next Generation, so they're obviously in Enterprise D. Enterprise C comes through. They were in the battle with the Romulans and the
Tasha Yar
Klingons
appears
when
again.
Tasha Yar went back. She wasn't supposed to be alive. And so
Right.
I think it's season 4 anyway. And then
And
she
Whoopi
goes
made
back.
sure to tell her. I'm not
Yeah.
even supposed to
Oh.
know you.
Right. Oh yeah, Guinan. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Guinan. Oh, did I say
Yeah.
Whoopi? My bad. Yeah.
Yeah.
I definitely don't, without remembering all the details, I definitely don't want to be in the mirror universe, because that's just like the way they approach everything there. I'd be dead. It'd be like,
Okay.
what do you mean you're not violent? Okay.
Okay.
All right, next. Come
Cool.
on.
Who do you think is the best buddy duo, Bashir and O'Brien or Geordi and Data?
Ooh, very good question. I think Jordy and Data, because
Okay.
Data is like a combination of Bashir and O'Brien, because he's an engineer and he's very smart. So Bashir has even though Bashir's got the
Genetics,
the
right?
genetics to think smarter, Data already has that. And then I know O'Brien is meant to be a very good engineer, but so is both Data and Geordi. They can both talk engineering. They don't have a doctor, so if they're injured, they might be in trouble. But Data has got enough, probably, first aid to help in that. So I'm gonna go with Data and Geordi.
Cool. All right. Would you rather trust Odo's judgment or a Vulcan's logic?
Odo's judgment or a Vulcan's logic? Very interesting question.
Fascinating.
I feel like I should. No, I was about to say Vulcan's logic, but then, and the reason I was going to say that is I feel like Odo goes a lot more by what the law says. So
Mhm.
he can be, he can be a little bit of a fascistic. He can be a little bit of a fascist, but I think he has shown in like some of his later years of questioning some of those. So it might be better to go with Odo, because the question is who can logic and Odo's judgment. What I really care about is who's got who's got integrity, who cares more about not justice, but who can be kinder. A Vulcan can say for logic, it's illogical to cry when somebody dies. But Odo's judgment would be, you can do that even though you're allowed to cry, even though it's against the law. So I'm gonna have to go with Odo's judgment, because clear logic may not always be the best way to go.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. Would you rather be on a deep space explorer, planned deep space, so not like Voyager, or would you rather be on a frontline warship?
Ooh, that's a very good question, because both of them have the good. Like, I'm going by danger now.
Yeah.
So one of them's got the danger of, war. In the deep space scenario, is it just myself or is it like a crew?
I would say crew. So
Okay.
yeah, deep space explorer.
I would probably say a crew is better. Like, because then you need that social interaction. If you're on a warship, you're going to war, you're gonna be in trouble. That means you're gonna be attacked. Likelihood of being killed. There's no reason to jump into wars. But the deep space thing, like, if you say to me, this is a 7-year mission where you're gonna come back in 7 years and you're doing various explorations or various experiments, that's okay. If it's just the freight that's going from one end to the other and it's only going to take 7 years, again, still, if you've got a crew, you can have communication, you can have socializing, you can have things to not go absolutely insane. So I'm going to go with deep space exploration is better than a warship.
But little did you know your deep space exploration was heading into Borg space.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's a possibility. That's a possibility, There's a possibility.
It's not the only possibility of I'm going to war. That's just a possibility.
Exactly. It's like,
right.
Yeah, totally. I'm there with you. I do the deep space. I do the exploring.
And Trekkie said a frontline warship.
True.
It's not a backup. I'm not backup.
Not even, just warship. No, frontline. Yeah.
Frontline. You're pretty much cannon fodder. So with that, would you rather be hunted by a Nausicaan with a toothpick or a Tribble with a vendetta?
Sorry, with a vendetta. Probably the Nausicaan you can see coming. A Tribble is like the trouble with tribbles, if you will, is that all of a sudden there won't just be one. Do they multiply by themselves?
Yes. Well, they as soon as they eat, it's kind of like a gremlin when they get wet. They multiply like crazy.
Yeah, so I eat a snack and then there's another Demo. No, you can't mess with that. You don't mess with those odds. You go against an again. Like,
Yeah.
yes, he's got a toothpick. I'll have a bigger toothpick, and he's stronger than me, but I'll
Not quicker.
try and do it. I can't deal. The trouble with tribbles is that I don't know how to stop them unless you blow them all up. Unless I can find it first. It's the same as that. If a snail is coming at you, a super intelligent snail that doesn't die, what do you do about it? Okay, well, if I get to it first, I can do something. But by the time I get to the tribble, how many tribbles are there?
Yeah.
Right.
So,
Be a
So
hell of
the
a
risk-
way to spay or neuter a tribble. That'd be an interesting little. That should be a little game that they make. Instead of Operation Spay or Noodle, Spay or Neuter a
Hey or
tribble.
noodle. Hey or neuter a tribble. This game is definitely not for 10 and under. No, I'm just
Yeah.
kidding.
And Dimo, our favorite last question: Trekkie or Trekker?
as in, definitely, that's not a question of who do I prefer as a friend.
Right. Yes.
Um,
Correct.
Are you meaning
Like
what is
the naming structure. So if you were to go out and you would introduce yourself, would you say that you were a Trekkie or were you a Trekker?
I would say Trekkie is the most it's most common, so it's difficult to try and introduce a new sort of descriptor with people, especially if they're strangers, especially if they don't know what it is. It's like you go up to them. If they say, "Oh, so you're a Trekkie," you say, well, actually, we prefer Trekkers. That can be confusing. The reason I've got if there was stigma associated with the word Trekkie, then we would come out and say, well, actually, we don't prefer this. This is an insult. This is we've gone backwards and we've changed the definition for this. That would be different. But calling someone a Trekkie is, in my opinion, is not a slur. It's not anything wrong.
No, there's
So and it's sort of an agreed upon way to describe someone. So you an expected way. If someone says you're a Trekkie, we know what you're referring to. If someone comes out of the blue and says you're a Trekker, even as a fan of Star Trek, you might turn around and say, "What are you talking about?"
Not me. Not me.
Not
I'd
you.
say, heck yeah. Heck yeah. You got it correct. That's what I'd say.
It's like if you go on the cruise, do you think you can just say just make that a point?
We should do it as
a
door
survey.
decks. Put a mark on which side of the door, Trekkie
Yes.
or Trekker.
Yes.
That'd be a fun one. Yeah.
and then you can have a thing that says when everybody's decided, we will officially change the name.
Yeah, there's no
Yeah, we're-
official, but the only thing that I don't like, I like Trekkie, I like Trekker, I do. What I don't like is, oh, you like Star Trek? Are you a Trekkie?
That's
You can
insane.
go with Trekkie and Trekker, but please don't Trekkie me, please.
No, that's no. The Trekkie is not a thing. That to me says someone's a Trekkie. If I heard it here, it's someone wearing tracksuit bottoms or tracksuit tops. Literally, like I'll hear that and it won't surprise me.
Be more like Track Star rather than Star Trek.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. Yes. Yeah.
If someone, I'm definitely always, like I said, I'm an engineer. I work for an engineering company, and the way I say to them, yeah, I'm a fan of Star Trek, and none of them watch it, or none of them are as inspired by it or care about it enough to know. Be like, yeah, I like Star Wars, and that's about it. Like, so.
We forgot to ask Georgia when we were interviewing her. So when we bring you all back together, I hope as another episode later, we'll ask her as well. But for you, is there any kind of a Star Trek show you would like to develop? Like if you could just invent a new show, what kind of show would it be?
If I could invent a new show, what
For
show
Star
would it be?
Trek.
For
Not
Star
all
Trek.
the other fandoms we talked about today.
So set in the Star Trek universe, what would it be? I can't answer that because I'm not the most inventive, and
That's
I
fine.
don't know if I'm
Then what would you
Only-
like to see 3 more seasons of? What show?
3 more seasons of Strange New Worlds and Lower Decks.
Okay.
Like,
Cool.
like because they're the ones that got cut short.
Yeah,
I can't go
way
back
too
to
short.
TNG. I can't go back to DS9. I can't go back to Voyager, because those, once they've finished what they're talking about, then they've
we're
got to
done.
stop. But Strange New Worlds is doing a very good job of like making new stories, making new episodes, keeping the episodic thing. What I read, like my favorite episodes in Strange New Worlds were the musical episode and the one where Spock became human.
Yeah,
Like
that
when
was
I watched
great.
those,
Yeah.
when he freaks out,
With
I'm
the
like,
heart.
yeah, go freak out. So and Lower Decks is like episode after episode of just all the jokes. I love the jokes. I love them. It's I used to think they're taking the piss out of it, out of Star Trek. They're making fun of it.
Yeah.
Right.
But in the making fun of it, you're homaging it. They're talking in the same sentence that they make fun of something. They say how much they love being in Starfleet, in Star Trek. They love like doing everything. The prank call Armus, but they spent the whole,
I love that.
Yes.
That was greatness. So great.
every time
Who is this?
when things get overwhelmed, they're like, oh, it's all these wacky like items that alter reality, and we have to deal with them because we've got so many. But then they go, but we love it, but we also love it, and so it's very good to see. But yeah, I'll have a think about if there's another.
All right, we'll
Star
ask
Trek
both
movies.
of you that when we bring y'all both on, and
Yeah.
we'll have like a group conversation as the four of us, and that'll be real fun next time we
Yeah,
meet.
that would be fun.
Yeah.
I feel
cool.
like it would probably be something along the lines of, just spitballing here, an alternate universe, not an alternate universe Star Trek, but there needs to be a theme. Immediately my mind goes to like ancient Greeks in Star Trek, and I'm like, but how does that work? You can't have that.
Sure, you can. There's a TOS episode where the gods of
what's his
ancient
face?
Greece were over on a planet. Oh,
They did it in Lower Decks. They brought the daughter
and
of-
that's
of
right.
Hercules.
She was
it
part of
Hercules?
that. Yes, I forgot.
It was their daughter, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And but how do you? It's the same way like Assassin's Creed says, oh, what if it was set in ancient Greece? What if it was set in Egypt? What if and these things, and it's okay to think about, but then when you go into the realism of it, it's like, okay, why am I wearing an ancient Greek chiton in space? Why am I doing that? Why am I using
comfortable?
It's cold in space. There's
No
so
one
much-
can hear you scream.
so much of your power needs to go towards heat. So why are you taking more clothes off?
Right.
That's
funny.
Star Trek.
Yeah. right. Right.
Was it
Star Trek After Hours. I mean,
one of the jokes in Lower Decks is like, I just finished putting more rocks into like all the panels so that when they blow up,
right.
we have
The rocks could come out. Yeah.
Well, Dimo, it has truly been a pleasure. And again, as we've already discussed, we'll be pulling you back on, to have additional conversations here.
nice.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us. If you like the podcast, please like, share, and subscribe. And we will talk to you again soon. Live long and prosper, everyone.
Thank you for having me,
Peace
guys.
and long life. Absolutely,
Absolutely, Dimo.
Dimo.
Engage.